The A's say they've submitted the formal relocation application to Major League Baseball. Presuming that's true, are you now losing hope that the A's will leave Oakland?
I'm never going to lose hope until there are shovel in the ground. We hear from the Oakland A's all the time around, we have all these plans, we submitted this and that, and nothing really comes into fruition. And so I'm still going to go ahead and keep that hope, and not just that, but continue to work really hard with just not myself. I'll be working with the fans and other stakeholders to really push for MLB to do the right thing. And the right thing is to keep the A's here in Oakland, with or without the current owner.
John Fisher was very blunt. He told me he wants to leave Oakland because of the money. He said it straight up. Now, I'm going to quote here. I felt the pressure from the collective bargaining agreement. We had been working with Oakland for 6 years. We had to have a binding agreement on a new stadium by January of 2024, or we would lose our revenue sharing. You've told me previously you were close to a deal. Why not pick up the phone right now and close this deal?
Absolutely, and I think that that's on John Fisher. I mean, we were so close to a deal, and every time I just feel like every single week, every single 2 weeks, there's a new story to tell, a new false narrative that the Oakland A's is telling about why they had to leave the city of Oakland. And again, I continue to call BS on that, because at the end of the day, we went beyond what the A's had requested for, right? In regards to funding, in regards to, the grandiose, not just the stadium, but the full development that they wanted. And so with that being said, I can't help but continue to feel that this was always their scheme, is to always say that somehow it was the city of Oakland's fault and that they had to move to a different city. We all know that if they do make this move, it will be great for their pocketbook. But this is not about, just money for a certain small group of people. This is about generations of tradition. This is about the A's being rooted here in Oakland for over 50 years. And so if this is about money for a small group of people, then go ahead and open up an expansion team to Vegas, but keep our A's here in the city.
You bring up money. Did the numbers change? Did they keep changing, I should say? Initially, the A's had one number. Then they said they needed $611 million of public funds. Oakland came up with, I think, approximately $425 million. So $611 million. You guys came up with $425 million. Relatively speaking, that seems like it's a number that can be bridged.
Well, definitely. It could be a number that it can be bridged, but you have seen, and I have seen, and the fans have seen, the track record of the Oakland A's is always moving the goalposts, not even really knowing what the real request is. And so when you're working in an environment like that, it's not in good faith at all. If it's going to be in good faith, we have to bring the professionals into to the table, have real conversations about costs, have real conversations about land use. We've seen that even the proposal in Las Vegas, that those plans have changed over and over within just a week. And so, really, it's about time that we have to get real serious about, keeping the Oakland A's here. Again, if you want an expansion team, go right on ahead, create an expansion team for Las Vegas, but the A's belong to Oakland.
This might have been the biggest takeaway, Mayor Thao, into John Fisher's decision making. He says, quote, perhaps even more important, we have been unable to secure a reliable date by which we would have a fully approved project. We were running out of time. So he's saying the project wasn't approved officially, whether it's the city, the port, the state. Is that true? And were the A's really bargaining in good faith here?
It is true that nothing was approved, but what I would argue is that it was never approved because the Oakland A's never moved to get to that point. Remember, we were very close to getting that approval so that we then can go to council for approval. But how can you say that you never received anything that is approved? Technically true. But let's be very clear, this was not the fault of the city. This is the Oakland A's playing games again. And not just that, but multiple times throughout this bargaining session, before even my term as mayor, it was the Oakland A's who had requested for a longer timeline, who requested for multiple delays. And this is information that people don't know, but they have asked for multiple delays. And so to now say that somehow it is our fault when they are the ones that continue to move the goalposts is completely not not fair, and it is a complete lie.
I've talked to you several times about this topic since you took office. Your tone is now changing. Are you fed up?
I am completely fed up, but at the end of the day, I'm not fed up to continue to fight for what is right. I'll continue to fight for the A's, for the fans, and that's what we'll do. This is not going to be something that we're going to give up on easily. I believe that here in the city of Oakland, yes, we have many different issues, but we can walk and talk and chew gum all at the same time. This is an institution that is part of our culture here in Oakland and in the Bay Area, and many families, again, are tied to this team and the game as well too, and so I'm going to continue to fight for them.
Mayor Thao, what now? If this does move forward and they leave, will you extend their lease at the Coliseum beyond next year and allow the A's to play while they kind of wait for that Vegas ballpark to be built?
My answer to that is to extend the ballpark, the lease for the Oakland A's to play here in Oakland. It's going to, there's going to have to be some conversation, some real conversation, some tangibles for our city of Oakland, including a possibility of an expansion team guarantee, including the possibility of the name staying here in the city of Oakland, because at the end of the day, you have to call it what it is. And I'm not going to stand here and allow for there to be abuse in this so-called relationship that we have. And so if they're willing to have that conversation and be a good player and a good, a good tenant here in the city of Oakland and a good team player, then that's a conversation we should have. We should really talk about possible expansion and keeping the name here in Oakland.
As you probably know, the moment they leave the Bay Area, they lose a big paycheck from NBC Sports for their TV rights. So I would imagine the A's don't want to leave any sooner than they have to. As we wrap it up here, in hindsight, would it have been better to use a TIF, one of those tax increment financing for the Howard Terminal project, instead of just the public grants secured by Mayor Schaaf, your predecessor?
Absolutely, and that was part of the plan. If you look at the proposal, it is actually that financial district that was already a part of that proposal to create, and close that gap for funding. And so all of those funds would have been created only because the ballpark was actually implemented. And so to answer your question, yes, and that was already part of the proposal.
Are you optimistic that anything will change with the Fishers and the A's?
I'm optimistic that people can change. Changing overnight is very difficult, but what we can actually hope for is that MLB will see that Oakland is a place where, yes, you can, you'll have a smaller share in regards to the revenues that many of the owners can receive from media, but not just that, is that MLB wants to diversify its fan base. And let's hold them true to their values, to what they said that this is their values. More so than that, we have lined up people who are willing and wanting to buy this team, and so we have to say, MLB, please allow for the Oakland A's to remain here in Oakland. If there is viable people willing to buy, which there are, then let's go ahead and give that opportunity to the Oakland A's and expand in Las Vegas and give that expansion opportunity to the Fishers if they want that. But the Oakland A's should remain here in Oakland.
I don't think I'll believe anything until a new stadium is built in Las Vegas. Until that point, it's just a lot of talk. Mayor Thao, thanks for your time tonight. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Raj.